Sunday, July 26th, around market open about 5:30 Pacific, so it's been open about an hour or two. But had some movement. So S&P on the weekly, we're still in the range of the week's bar here of last week. On the daily, we've been experiencing a bit of this down move here, but we're in this major range. On the 240 though, this is where we saw some movement, impulsive down, flag, impulsive down. And right now we're coming back up to this trend line. We are in the area of interest of past support resistance on the 4 hour, and above it is the fibs. On the hourly, we did break up to a bullish structure. So we had this low, this high, and now we would be here and here off of the support zone. So we are up here at the top, but on the 240, we are still bearish. So on the 15-minute, not much to say. It's hard to see because we gapped up so much. So I'm not sure, but gaps tend to fill. And on the 5-minute, we did see a change of character right here. So we had been pushing up and then pull back, lower high, lower low close, candles here. So I do have a trade on for a small amount, just a few contracts, and my stop is here. And I'm waiting to see if we can pull back down into like this fib zone or area of support and resistance, and I'll get out. But just kind of fading this gap up and then rethinking where we're going to be in terms of looking for bullish on the upside of this hourly. On the euro, we also are still in this range on the weekly, and on the daily, to put in perspective, we're in this major support area here. On the 240, we had been downtrending. In fact, I had this as this huge move and flag, and the major structure area is here. But to zoom in a little more internal, we've been downtrending, but now we've had a change of structure. So this double bottom here on the 4 hour with the close above, this neckline around 1400 is actually the same neckline on the hourly. So again, more fidelity on this double bottom into a change of structure with the neckline break. So I'm going to move these now, and here's our low. Actually, yeah, and here's our high. Not doing this as the low because it never broke it. This is the deepest low that broke this. So going to be looking to see how we pull back. Oops, if we get into the fib zones or back in here, supply and demand area, but going to be watching. We are now bullish and going to be watching for a return and change of structure on the 15-minute. So we did on the 15-minute. It is cool. We broke this neckline here, which is lower. So here's that 1400 on everybody else's. On the more granular level, you can see we came down here, popped here, and then we broke this one with this opening bar, traced in with a flag, and shot back up. So it's really showing me it wants to go bullish, but I don't want to chase given this move here. So I'm going to take this off now. So I'm going to let it pull back in and see where we go from there. On gold, we are popping up. We gapped up here. On the 240, we are bullish and it's remained bullish. We came off this engulfing down here, had a major change of structure. On the 60-minute, we opened up and railed right back up to here. So here's our new zone. On the 15-minute, I'm just kind of waiting and see what's going to happen. Let's remove these. So we now have this new, we'll see if this gap holds or if we come back in. But even if we come back in the gap, I want to watch this next leg of the hourly and use this as my major zone to be trading off of. So I keep doing that one backwards. So let's push up here, or it could just be the gap or whatever, but going to see how we return in here and go. from there on pound yen, we're just still in this range. We did open up, but nothing new to add. And then I think I tried to find some news, I couldn't find it. But if we look at oil, oil came down a lot, big gap down. So we were in this bullish range on the 240. Let's go back to the daily here. So we're still in a major uptrend on the daily, price action wise. But on the 4 hour, we have shifted. And we shifted, right around this last major high up here. But on the 240, if we zoom out, we had a great run here. But we have now closed below this low. So we are no longer looking for longs. We will be looking for shorts. And let's see on the hourly here. Let's get rid of these now because those are now invalidated. And sort of the same thing. I think this holds still because it never closed. Yep, this holds still because it never closed above. And put you here. And there's our range here. See if I get this one right this time. Boom. So, should we come back in and fill this gap around in here? I'm definitely going to be watching. Pull back. Could be this area here. Not sure, but very interesting that it opened so down. And again, I couldn't really find the news on it, but great, lower oil. So watching that, and then Bitcoin, let's see. So we're still in this daily range, heavy flat range. We are, interestingly, in the fib zone of the 4 hour. So lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Came along. We did have I think it'd be better on the hourly. On this hourly, we formed what could be easily seen as the double bottom. And then we had the change of character here, and then we shot up. So that said, on the 4 hour, we are still bearish. On the hourly, however, we are clearly in an uptrend. We had the change of character down here, and open that up here. And so I would need to see this break down somewhat or come up and have a double top or something to get back in line with the 240 being bearish before I would look for shorts. But I am going to see what happens. Do we respect this low on the hourly and go to new, or does the 240 downtrend continue and we form some price action up here where this comes up and forms a double top? I have no idea. So I'm kind of just waiting and seeing what happens. So that's what I'm seeing for the Sunday intro. It's Sunday. I only need a couple trades a week to work, so not trying to get too ahead of my skis, just putting out my thoughts right now, laying this out so I can go back and review it later as the week progresses. So all in all, seeing if a short setup happens here on given the 240 downtrend in Bitcoin, seeing if price action does that. On oil, I consider us bearish because we broke through the 4 hour price structure and closed. And so now if we waiting for a pullback to see if I want to continue to short. On the gold, we are in an uptrend on the 4 hour. We are in a range on the daily, but on this uptrend here, I want to see how far we come back in and what price structure gives me to look for a long. Because again, on the 60-minute, we're in an uptrend. On the 240, we're in an uptrend. So continuing to just watch as we go on this one. And then on the S&P 500, sorry, I got to clean this up. Oh, euro is a big one. We are breaking bullish. So change double bottom on the 4 hour and the hour, same double bottom. Closed confirmed. On the 15-minute, we've closed and popped up. So going to see how we retrace back into this area for getting long on the euro here. And on the S&P, I have us still very bearish. on the 240. Let's see, so yeah, let's see, this never broke any of this high, this never broke this high. So yeah, it's all internal structure. And on the hourly, we are bullish, but I see us pulling, well, I'm waiting to see what price action does, but on the 5 minute, we have the change of character that I'm shorting as more of a scalp and pulling back into the gap. So that's my summary.